午好。My name is Yiying Lu， 我的中文名叫陆怡颖。然后怡是心旷神怡的怡，怡 stands for happy，and Ying means creative。颖是新颖的颖。So happy creative, there you are. So today I'm going to do a little bit intro of myself. I was born in Shanghai, moved to Sydney, Australia when I was a teenager. And I studied in London, UK, as well as Sydney, Australia. And now I'm based in Silicon Valley, living in San Francisco, helping hundreds of companies around the world. And I have been helped with a lot of 4A agencies around the world, including J. Walter Thompson, McKinsey & Erickson, and so on. I have also helped global brands around the world, including Disney Shanghai, and PepsiCo, etc. I'm also very, very happy to just recently helping out NYU Shanghai with the Shanghai branding. 500 Startup is actually a global venture capital and seed investing incubator for startup companies. We help companies to accelerate, helping them to design distribution, and I am actually very happy to be here to share some of the stories I have been gathered during my time in the Silicon Valley. So I also have helped Google, Twitter, South by Southwest, and Microsoft. Very, very happy to be here to see the branding in action. I actually help with the Global Create Summit, which is the branding for this time, for this year, and excited to see, this is the Tangram Qiqiaoban from last year, and this is this year. So I wanted to kind of give you a little background about why it's a light bulb, and what is the story behind the light bulb. So as you can see on the screen, it is kind of an unusual light bulb. It is actually a combination. Any great project starts with an idea. 任何一个非常好的项目都是从一个创意开始的。然后创意的 the symbol of creativity is from idea, the light bulb. This light bulb moment, and you combine with the technology, 科技和创意相结合. And there we have the light bulb with the circuits, and also there's a bit of story behind the number 8. It's not only because it's the pronunciation of 8. It's also, if you look at the number 8, it's a very auspicious number in the Chinese history. 在我们的中国文化当中 8 is being considered as the number of auspicious. 8是一个非常吉祥的数字。然后 the other really interesting thing is that 8 also, the pronunciation of 8 in Chinese Mandarin or even Cantonese is 八就是发. So we have 8 as the character of prosperity. So I was very interested to see if there's any way that we can actually combine the circle, which is a very sort of feminine and also very circular shape, and we combine that with something like the G. If you look at the Ji Shangji, it's a very interesting masculine and circular combination. You have the circular shape with the very diagonal, very straight lines, and you have the Zhou, which is the week, which is the creative week. So we have this combination, and interestingly enough, I discovered number 8 is actually the vertical infinity symbol. 我们看一下，就是无穷大的这个 infinity symbol， 把它竖起来，就是 number 8. So that's really interesting. It's a very nice coincidence. And the palette that I've been using is the 8 colors, which creates this rainbow color. And the other really interesting thing is that I was starting to looking at how can we make the 8 become more creative. So I have developed 21 different symbols of the 8, and we also have it in different color schemes as well, having these beautiful colors in combination of different shapes. And this is the 8 articulates and transcends what it is as the pronunciation or as the symbol, and it has a lot more meaning and a lot of embodiment. This is also very interesting. I realized that if you look at a lot of words, are very positive and inspiring words. We have ideate, create, innovate, And the Chinese translation, I also was looking at if there's any way we can actually translate that into Chinese as well. And I love the fact that the Chinese name of this week is 众创周末. So it's like we gotta create together. So 众在这里是大众的众. So it's not only an individual activity, it's a creative activity that everybody does it together. And it's so nice to see everyone here. 我们大家都在这里聚集一堂，就是这个众字。所以我觉得就是这个众可以在这里做文章。So I started to look at the English. If you look at the English, there's a lot of really awesome, positive, and very, very inspiring words like activate, advocate, accelerate, collaborate, cultivate, motivate. All these words on the screen has shared the same pronunciation at the end, which is the number 8, which is the theme of this particular summit. So there you are. This is the story of the Create Summit. 这个就是我们众创周末这个品牌设计的故事。But I wanted to thank the theme. I want to thank Mr. Cheng and 天安这个数码科技城所有的员工 because literally we came up with this idea and execution within a week. Like it's literally a week, and it's kind of crazy to come back. I was traveling from Mexico, actually Shanghai, Mexico, and San Francisco, Seoul. I literally just arrived last night. I don't know how I'm getting all these energy. I think it's because of you guys are here in the room. But it's really amazing to see how everything come in fruition in literally a week time. So round of applause of all the hard work of everybody here. 我们大家可以就是真的感谢所有的在这里的所有的员工的努力啊，能够让这个活动这样开始，我觉得是一个非常好的开始。So I'm going to give you the key to access creative. What is the key to access the creativity? 是怎样的一把金钥匙打开这个设计的大门 ？So I don't know how many of you actually have seen this image online. So for those of you who don't know, because we don't really use Twitter here in China, this image is actually very famous outside of China or Asian Pacific. It's interesting that this was an image that I created when I was still a student back in 2006. So I was studying in London and I came back to Sydney, Australia, and I realized that I have a lot of friends having birthday parties and have graduation ceremony, and I wouldn't be able to make it to their events. I got all these invitations on social media, so I made this whale was originally being made as my wish to you is so big, it's very heavy. It's like this white whale that being lifted by little birds across the ocean for you. But it was amazing that Twitter, the social media, Twitter was using it for their 404 page. So every time when Twitter is down, the users will be able to see this image appear on the internet. And the users love it so much, they actually tweet about it. So they have, like, we have all these users around the world telling, like, the world basically how much they love it. It's also caught a lot of attention from the mainstream media, including New York Times, CNN, even, you know, BBC UK, as well as Wired magazine around the world. And the Mashable was also quoted that the farewell image is actually the icon of the new Web 2.0. What's really amazing is the people around the world actually started to celebrate this imagery. So we have the image on the left is actually from Tokyo, Japan, and then we have the kinetic sculpture from Australia. We also have, this is a Japanese artist made this just out of curiosity. We also have street art in New York City. And it's so amazing that the Singaporean government love it so much, and they were using it for their government campaign for public transportation. We also have San Francisco Chronicle was using it. We also have cakes around the world as well. The cake on the top was from Melbourne, Australia. We also have cakes from the US and cakes from Brazil. And why stop in cakes? We can also have drinks. We also have Farewell Pale Ale Beer Label Contest in the US. There was actually a professor decided to throw a contest, and this is the winner. The other one was the farewell cocktail that was actually being served in one of the awards in New York City. The whale was also got a lot of attention in the fashion industry, so people really love it, and they kind of started to create all kinds of different fashion statements of their self-expression through the whale colors, etc. During the Halloween season, people even made those hats. So they have, you know, these are again hats around the world. This one on the right is actually an engineer from Adobe. He was making a hat and to celebrate the Halloween. Somebody loved it so much. They tattooed it on the leg. This is actually from a guy from Florida. 在佛罗里达州有一个粉丝太喜欢这幅图了，居然就把这幅图纹上他的腿上了。And also, this is one of the very famous U.S. talk show host, Conan O'Brien, and his team actually reached out in 2010, and it was such an honor because I love Conan O'Brien. I also love the way of delivery, everything he does, and it was amazing to see that his team and also himself liked the whale. And so I did this piece of art for his new show on TBS as the launch illustration. So what is the magic behind all this? What is actually making it work? So I'm going to share this with you. The first key to access creativity is C for combine. It's C for combine because it's pretty much like this particular event is combining the art and the tech. It's the combination of art and tech together. This is a typical technology failure, which is the famous blue screen of death in the Microsoft PC system. I'm sure like a lot of you have seen this image before. So this image is essentially the same as the whale. If you think about it, the functionality of this image is telling the same message, which is technology has failure, and I'm just letting you know that we have a downtime. But now, because of the whale gets so much attention, and a lot of companies see the opportunity to really engage with their users using the combination of tech and art, we have not only Google, but also Lego, LinkedIn, this is GitHub, and Airbnb. All these big companies are starting to combine the tech and art together, making every single user experience become more engaging and interesting. So the second one I would like to talk about is R for reflect. So what do you mean by reflect? Reflect means to think deeper, to think deeply about a problem, how to solve it. This is a typical technology, image of a technology symbol, which is a QR code. I don't think most of the people actually like the form of QR code because it's kind of boring, right? So how do we make it more interesting? I've been reflecting on this. How can I make it more interesting so that it becomes something engaging? And if you think about it, fashion is actually a very interesting and engaging form. So why not let's combine the fashion and the tech? Right? So this is actually in a wing tour from Devil Wears Prada. So when I got this project about 3 years ago to showcase 10 fashion icons in the world, she was one of these. And I decided to do an experiment, which is really combining the artwork, which is hand-drawn illustration, with the QR code. And this is something that you can actually scan, and it will take you to a website that gives you more explanation of what the project is, as well as the actual artist, which is myself, and also the content. Because traditionally, if you look at a piece of illustration or art, it doesn't tell you who is this by, and also who is the subject matter, right? So this is the Olsen twins. So this is also really interesting because usually you see the twins, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart because they look exactly the same. But when you scan the code, you can actually tell who's who. There's more. And this is me drawing the picture. So everything is actually drawn by hand using ink and water. This is me finishing the last piece. And this project was very, very successful, that a lot of mainstream media, including Huffington Post and Mashable, Engadget, they were talking about how really there is a chance that art and technology can really go hand in hand and creating something incredible. So the third one is E for execute. What does it mean by execute? Execute means do it, make it happen. So this imagery, which is a little bit blurry, this is actually a dumpling emoji, and they're going to be on your phone next year. So everybody, next year on your phone, this dumpling is going to be on everybody's phone. So this dumpling emoji, why and how they can get into your phone, whether you're using an iPhone or Apple phone, iPhone or Samsung or any Android phones. It all starts with this text message exchange with my friend Jennifer A. Lee. She's also Chinese American. She was born in America, but it was really interesting. Jenny is a writer. She used to write for New York Times. She's also the producer of the In Search of the General Tso Chicken, which is another really interesting documentary. Anyway, so Jenny and I, we met about 7 years ago, and we met each other last year when I moved to San Francisco, and she texted me and invited me to go to her place to have dumplings. And I wanted to send her dumpling emoji, and I realized there's no dumpling emoji. So what I did is I went back to my table. I realized I'm a designer. I can actually make it. So I decided to make this dumpling, which also blinks, and I call it Bling Bling Dumpling. So I made this dumpling. This is actually the first draft. And Jenny was like, why don't we publish this? Is there any way that we can get everybody's phone have this dumpling in it? So then we did research and realized this organization called Unicode Consortium. It is actually a non-for-profit organization. But in order to make it happen, you need to be one of those big companies and pay about $18,000 US to get the voting right. So guess what we did? We went out to Kickstarter and we raised money, and in the end, the Unicode Consortium loved us so much, and we got this dumpling published. And not only published this dumpling, we also published another 3, which is the Chinese takeout box, the chopstick, and also the fortune cookie. So all these four emojis are going to be on your phone next year. Whichever phone you're using, you will be accessed the dumpling emoji, as well as the chopstick, the takeout box, and the fortune cookie. So again, E for execution. If you think of it, do it. The fourth one is A for adaptation. So what does it mean by adaptation is be comfortable with any situation that happens and go with the flow. So this is a typical demo day of 500 startups. So every single quarter, we have companies around the world, about 50 companies, getting onto the stage. Everybody have 2 minutes to present their companies. So last year, we always do this in the Computer History Museum in California, but last year, the whole museum was booked out in October, and the only one that is actually available is the day before Halloween. And as a lot of you, if you're coming from the US or you know the customs, the day before the Halloween is actually really, really hard to get people to come to your event. You know why? Because people usually go for Halloween parties into different organizations. So our founding partner we're deciding to make a very interesting choice, because we were like, okay, if everybody is going to have a party, why don't we make a party? So this is actually our founding partner, Dave McClure, and he said, well, we can throw our own party. We can actually combine the demo day with the Halloween party, and we call this the Demo-ween. So we decided to also like dress up some of the MCs and also the employees, and everybody at the end had a great time, and they also get their presentation done, which is amazing. This is actually our 2 founding partner, Dave McClure, dressed up as Count Von Kant from the Sesame Street, and we also have Christine Tsai dressed up as the Queen of Hearts from the Alice in the Wonderland. This is the MC dressed up as Wells Waddle, and also me as the double rainbow in the middle, and with my other colleagues. These are all my colleagues dressing up in all kinds of different characters. So A for adaptation. If we didn't actually adapt with the situation, we probably wouldn't come up with this really fun and engaging idea. Actually, this becomes the most popular event. This becomes the most popular demo day. Everybody wanted to get into this demo day because it's not only functional, but also fun. So A for adapt. The 5th one is T for test. I think user testing is extremely important, and a lot of times really, really great design coming from really great user testing. So this is a beautiful incubator space in the East Bay of California, of San Francisco, and the owner of this place, Alan Young, came to me and said, Yiying, I wanted to have a logo symbolized for the turtle and the rabbit. 用中文说是龟兔赛跑。So the turtle, 这个乌龟在龟兔赛跑里面是 always wins in the end. The turtle always wins the race, right? So he said our incubator is basically giving wings to the turtle. We help the turtle to take flight. So he said, okay, is it possible for you to come up with a design of turtle with wings? So I did that. But I wasn't very happy. When I finished that, I was like, I think something is missing. And so I thought, well, maybe I should do some user testing. I should probably start to ask people, what do they think? So a lot of people liking it, but also other people say, I don't really like it because it reminds me of the evil turtle from the Super Mario. 如果你们都玩那个超级玛丽的话，都可能知道里面有一个坏乌龟，它是会飞的。So people are like, oh, I don't really like it because it reminds me of the evil turtle, 坏乌龟. So I'm like, all right, I want to make something that is universal, that can evoke a good feeling. So in this case, if you already know the evil turtle, maybe it's not a good idea. And I also realized a lot of people were asking me, why is it a turtle? Why is it a turtle? And every single time I have to tell the story over and over. Because of the rabbit and turtle, and in the end, the rabbit lost the competition and the turtle wins. And I was like, wait a minute. People say, show, don't tell. So how do I show people? Instead of telling the story, I'm just going to show them the story. And then I thought about it. There's nothing wrong with a rabbit in the first place. Maybe we should just combine it. If we combine this, you can be as fast as a rabbit, because if you think about it, any of the startup company, you're starting up, you have to move fast, you have to be agile, and you are basically fast as a rabbit, and you also work very hard and persistent like the turtle. So there you are, the user testing. If I've never done the user testing, I would never get this inspiration. And are we talking about inspiration? Okay, let's move on to inspire. I think any of the really great work coming from a place that you wanted to inspire people. You want to give people a chance to be creative themselves. So this is a project actually inspired by my company value. This is not a poster, it's actually in the back of my hoodie. When I got my hoodie, I read it, I actually saw this message in the back of my hoodie even before I was joining the company. And there's Dave McClure dressed up as a unicorn because everybody is talking about unicorn. 中文是独角兽, right? The 独角兽 company is getting really, really popular. So 独角兽 company, for anyone who doesn't know what it means by unicorn company, is the company has $1 billion valuation. And so all the tech company wanted to be a unicorn company, and investors wanted to find a unicorn company. So I thought, well, how about let's create something to combine this believe your effing self, this motto, with a unicorn. What's going to happen if I create something as a combination of this? So I created this image for the company, originally for the LP meeting, which is a limited partner. When I combine them together, it becomes an animated unicorn GIF animation. This is our team member marching along on the street of the Market Street in San Francisco for the Pride weekend, celebrating for the right of LGBTQ. And in the end, it was really, really successful. And even the organizer company, the event organizer of the Pride Week, were even coming here and said, can we get a t-shirt too? We really love your t-shirt. So again, I think it's coming from a place really wanted to inspire people, but at the same time being inspired by others. So I for inspire. So then we're moving on to V. V for venture. I'm sure there's a lot. The reason why the Shenzhen become the cradle of innovation in China is because of the venture, the spirit of entrepreneurship, the spirit of making something, taking a venture, taking risks. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of my college story. This is actually a project that I did in my university, in my college. It is a mask that is a mask project that inspired by the Sydney Aquarium in Australia, in Sydney, Australia. So I made all these masks, and then I realized, wait, I have all these great masks, get really great marks. I actually got a really high score in school, but I'm not applying to the real life. Nobody's actually having a chance to wear them. So then I contacted the Sydney Aquarium and said, look, these masks are inspired by your sea creatures. Would you be interested in licensing them and produce them and make them available to the general public? And guess what? They said yes. So they came to me and they said, okay, we actually love your work so much and we wanted to commission you to do more. So I think I was in second year, and I was paid to do what I love. And in the end, the project was very successful. It was even being featured in the Sydney Daily Telegraph newspaper. So this was a great story of V for Venture, because if I didn't thought about it, if I didn't there actually was no risk. If I didn't contact Sydney Aquarium and say, look, I wanted to publish this, none of this is actually going to happen. So V for Venture. Okay, the last one, which is, the last letter is E for Engage. This is a company that is a 500 portfolio company from back in 2010. They're called Visually. They are an infographic company that used to be only hosting infographics. But what's really interesting is they decided to pivot into a creative container for creative content. So if you're an animator, if you're a writer, if you're a videographer, you can all use this imagery, you can all use this company to use it as an agency to connect with great brands. So the CEO and also the CMO came to me in 2014 and said, look, we wanted to create a very interesting user experience for our debut in a very popular event called South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. And we need you to come up with a creative campaign to illustrate the content is king, because it's all about content. And I thought, well, if content is king, why don't I just make a content king? We can just make the content king and make it become an actual character. So I decided to make a character, which is this content king, and bring it to life. There it is, the Content King mascot, and this is how the Content King looks like in the actual venue as posters. And because the shape is very unique, so it kind of stands out. There we are. We also had a cutout of the Content King when we bring them onto the street. I also did this really fun sort of exercise, is that we did a lot of cutouts of the Content King. So in the actual venue, you can dress yourself up as the Content King. So this is the team dressed up as the Content King, and you can actually take a photo, or the app itself will send you a photo. If you put your number and also your social media handle, you'll be able to receive something like this. So it actually animates. It's a really fun experience, and everybody who came by to the booth asking questions and take photos. And what's really interesting is they voluntarily give you the information. 用中文讲就是他们原来就是参展的很多的观众到他们的这个展台来，但是到了展台来，他们要跟你讲话，然后很多人看一眼就走了。那怎样把他们留住呢？就是我们有这个，我们有这些道具，你们可以拍照，然后留念，你们可以用自己的手机发到微信或者微博，在国外就是 Twitter、Instagram， 你们可以在那个社交的媒体上用这个照片的这个软件来发给自己。这样的话，大家就会把自己的信息告诉你，而不是你去问他们要这些信息。所以这个就是 E for Engage. We also have stickers. We also have bags, and we made its bags so bigger than the actual bags in the event. And people love it so much because they want to take more stuff. So this is the biggest bag we can make. And it was so successful that in the end, everybody liked to put their stuff in our bag because we made the biggest bag. Also, knowing what the users need is another really great key. We also made it into the playing cards, and we give it to the limited partner. This is the lovely team with the brand. So, content is king, 内容为王. This particular sentence was pointed out by Bill Gates 20 years ago in 1996. Now it's 2016, right? We are bombarded by content. We have a lot of content every single day. We see so much content. What is the key that really engage with others? And how do you actually capture the user's heart, I believe, is the queen. And if you look at it, content is the king, and the engagement is the queen. No matter how great content you have, if you don't have engagement, it's very dry, and it's only functional, but it's not necessarily interesting. So, when you combine the king and queen together, it's pretty much like you combine the technology and the art. You combine the method and the expression, and the art embodies the technology. It gives life and meaning to the technology. When you put the tech and art together, when you put the content and engagement together, this is when innovation happens. And so this is the keys of getting how to get creative. And again, C for combine, 结合, R for reflect, 反思, E for execute, 执行, A for adapt, 适应, T for test, 用户体验, 用户测试, I for inspire, 启发, 启示, V for venture, 创业精神, E for engage, 互动, 用户体验, 用户互动. So this is the key for the how to get creative, and this is my contact information. Feel free to get in touch. And again, at the very end, believe yourself. Thank you so much.